In the 1920s, one of the biggest scandals ever to erupt in the United States happened cross-country. It was the Teapot Dome scandal, and revolved around some oil land that was owned by the federal government, and the leases were given to private companies. People were dismayed and very distrustful. Some folks in the little town of Zahilay in the Yakima Valley decided to construct a service station, a gas station, shaped like a teapot. And it stood beside the old highway there for many years, and people stopped to get gas and water and use the restrooms. Now the community has moved into town as a tourist attraction. It truly is one of my favorite places. During the 1980s, there were many people in our state who were enthusiastically awaiting the state's centennial, our 100th birthday for the state of Washington. A young new legislator was elected from Grays Harbor County. He came to the Capitol and wanted to honor our state's maritime industry and history with their creation and the building of a new replica tall ship, the Lady Washington, the actual ship that Captain Robert Gray used when he sailed first time into Grays Harbor. And the ship was built. Craftsmen came from all over the Pacific Northwest, and pretty soon right there on the ways in Aberdeen and Hoquiam, we saw this beautiful ship emerge. Grace Harbor Historical Seaport has done us a real favor. This ship sails up and down the west coast of America, and thousands of school children have learned about our maritime history.
Prepare for fire! Prepare for fire! Fire! Fire!
Whoa!
We are really fortunate to have the Lady Washington as our state's official tall ship. She's truly one of my favorite vessels and one of my favorite places, the Lady Washington.
Here in the north end of Bainbridge Island is one of the gems of not only Puget Sound, but our entire state. That's the Blowdale Reserve. Prentice and Virginia Blowdale set out to create a botanical garden. They set out to create a Japanese-style grounds. And you walk through the wooded lands, across the grasslands and so forth, you'll see all these influences just jump out at you. The Blowdale home is now the Manor House, and it's open to the public, and you can tour it today, as well as look at the other very interesting buildings. It truly is a beautiful spot, and it truly is one of my favorite places.
As host of Inside Olympia since 2008, I appreciate the opportunity to conduct in-depth interviews with the state's leaders, from the governor to state legislators to state agency heads and beyond. These are often interviews nobody else is doing, and they are an important contribution to the civic health of Washington State. PVW is Washington's unblinking eye on state government. Its presence strengthens the civic bonds of the state. It ensures both visibility and access to the work of the governor and state lawmakers, but also state agencies, various committees, the courts, and so much more. In an era of declining media, PVW's role in strengthening the civic fabric of the state is even more important. In-depth, unedited interviews with state leaders. That's hard to find these days, but that's exactly what we bring you each week from the TVW studios. Tune in on TV, online, or on podcast for TVW's Inside Olympia.
For 20 years, I stood in front of classrooms full of 14-year-olds, trying to show them that government isn't something distant, but instead something that shapes their daily lives. TVW was my lifeline. It pulled back the curtain and showed my students the real people, real decisions, and real processes that make our state work. Now, being a part of TVW, I get to help other teachers give their students that same spark of understanding and empowerment. Civic education has never mattered more. People are searching for a place they can trust, where they can see their government honestly, openly, and without spin. When we understand how our democracy works, we understand our place in it. TVW gives every Washingtonian that chance. It equips teachers, students, and community members with the tools they need to feel informed, confident, and ready to participate in shaping the future of our state.
Well, the world has 7 wonders that the travelers always tell. Some gardens and some towers, I guess you know them well.
People just don't realize what our state was like before Grand Coulee Dam. Maybe Woody Guthrie said it best.
But now the greatest wonder is in Uncle Sam's fair land. It's that keen Columbia River and the big Grand Coulee Dam.
There was a fight for many, many years between private power and public power. Private power wanted a dam at Spokane Falls, and public power, and especially the Woods family that owned the Wenatchee World, had this dream about a dam on the Coulee. Clarence Dill, who was a famous congressman and senator at the time, stepped forward, and he's often called the founder of Grand Coulee Dam, but lots of people worked on it. And when the Roosevelt administration came along, everything changed. Roosevelt knew he had to create jobs. The jobs were out there if we could just put the projects together. And the Grand Coulee became reality. When people talk about the Grand Coulee Dam, they often say it's the 8th wonder of the world, and they have a right to say that in many ways. It was the biggest continuous pour of concrete ever, anywhere in the globe. Thousands of workmen, and the job it was to capture this river, and the size and the volume, and where they had to divert the water. The numbers there are just almost unbelievable, but they took it on and they did it. Thousands and thousands of workers were called. 2 of my cousins worked on the dam. They worked 40-hour weeks. They made 50 cents an hour, so they came home with a $20 paycheck. But from that $20, they deducted $10.15 for board and room, and then they deducted more for insurance, a little more. After a week's work, they ended up with about $8.40. It was tough work, and they didn't make much money. But boy, what they built for our state has a lasting legacy. And of course, there's a negative side too. They killed the Columbia River salmon runs that go upstream from the dam. And the Native Americans above the dam didn't get power for years and years and years, but nevertheless, our state has prospered time and time again from the Grand Coulee Dam. It truly is one of my favorite places.
Fentanyl is in abundance. It's everywhere, it's cheap, it's plentiful, and it's causing so many more overdoses.
Fentanyl is a killer that we're just letting run rapids in our streets, in our homes, in our schools, and there's no stopping it.
What about going to a single-payer system in this state? And what would that mean for the insurance industry?
Well, you're not going to get there overnight, that's for sure. It's going to take steps to get there.
We are very lucky to have this segment of history of the Japanese internment. This tells a big part of the story.
Whether Republican or Democrat, I work with Democrats to get done. And I think that this place in this role needs to be about getting stuff done for the people of Washington.
And if you could respond and wrap us up with your closing remarks.
Absolutely.
Here in the International District of Seattle sits the historic Panama Hotel.
Come on over, Robert. Yeah. So before, I'm just going to make a quick. So everybody, we deeply appreciate our friends at TVW who do fantastic work, and so. There was a little glitch, but my understanding is the TVW stream is good to go. So we are going to do take 2 on this. So once again, we really appreciate everybody's patience. We're literally going to start with Kari right at the top. Sorry you got to listen to me go through this one more time, or at least most of it. My apologies. But we just want to make sure the information gets out. So thanks, TVW. Kari, go ahead.
Okay. Thanks again for being here. So I'm just going to run through the speaking order. We're going to start with Governor Bob Ferguson, followed by King County Executive Girmay Zahilay, and finally we'll hear from Colonel Kathryn Sanborn with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And with that, Governor Ferguson.
Thank you, Kari, and good morning. Thank you all for being here. We so appreciate your taking time on a Saturday afternoon. Our state, as we all know, is going through a lot right now. But what we're going through became even more difficult with news that I received last night. That one of our state troopers died in the line of duty last night. That is State Trooper Gooding. As we were talking about just a few moments ago, that loss is profound for our state. It's profound for her family. And her family obviously extends to the State Patrol, where she has been serving with distinction, but also worth emphasizing as we are here with our friends in the National Guard, that she was a member of the National Guard for about 8 years. And, an individual like that who serves that many years in our National Guard and then chooses to go to the State Patrol, that is somebody who is, to put it mildly, deeply invested in public service, being willing to put her life at risk to help keep people safe. And so we are extending our thoughts and prayers to her family, to those who knew her and loved her, and extend our deepest appreciation for her many, many years of service to the people of our state. So it has been a difficult week for the people of the state of Washington, and I want to express my deep appreciation to all the first responders, emergency personnel, neighbors helping neighbors. What I've seen as I travel the state, and I've been to many communities all across the state recently, is exactly that. It's exactly what you would want if you're a governor, what you're seeing from different levels of government and tribes and organizations like the Red Cross who's here, neighbors helping neighbors. That's what I've seen over and over and over again. And I honestly find that extremely inspiring at a time like this, that folks are helping on that level. And that's what's going to help us get through this. From the beginning of this crisis, I've emphasized that the natural disaster our state is going through is historic in nature and will be a long-term event. In recent days, we have all emphasized how the stress on our infrastructure is extremely significant right now. One place we are watching closely is the levee system here in King County. The experts we have been speaking with make it clear that there has been historic stress on the system. The sheer number of days and the sheer amount of water is historic. We have had 2 breaches so far, one in Tukwila, as you know, and one in Pacific. We are deeply thankful that there is no loss of life from those breaches. The executive, Girmay, and I want Washingtonians to have the same information that we have as a county executive and as a governor. So here's the bottom line. The risk of another breach has most certainly come down in the past week. We are thankful for that, and you'll hear more about that from the Colonel. But it is still being described to us, that risk is still being described to us as moderate. In other words, the risk of a breach is still real. This is an extremely unpredictable situation. Weather is unpredictable. Debris is unpredictable. Things are very unpredictable, and we're going to continue to keep the public informed on the information we have so we can communicate that to all of them. Because that risk is real, we are taking nothing for granted. We are taking steps to ensure that we can prevent to the best of our abilities future breaches and ensure that we're as prepared as possible if another breach occurs. The executive will speak in more detail about the county's work on this. The Colonel will also speak about the Corps' work. One thing I just want to take a moment to emphasize, just so the people of the state know this, there is a lot, and I would underline that word, a lot of communication going on with the folks you're seeing here, with the city leadership who's here, a lot of folks all around the state. We have many, many conversations every single day to share information and make sure we're on the same page. And I want the people of the state of Washington to know that. Girmay and I are relatively new in our jobs. He's newer than I am, but we go back a long ways. We know each other well. Our teams work together very well and very closely. And I want the people of the state of Washington to know that. This is not an exhaustive list, but I want to share several specific steps that we're doing together to make sure we're putting resources into this situation. Number one, I'm mobilizing 100 National Guard members to help respond to the crisis that we have. 50 of those National Guard members will be made available to help patrol the levees, eyes on the levee at all times. Individuals should be aware that they may see the military personnel of our National Guard in military vehicles in their neighborhoods. I want to emphasize those National Guard members are performing a critical function to help ensure your safety. We deeply appreciate their hard work and sacrifice across many communities across our state in the last 10 days. We intend to have spotters on the levee system 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That means Christmas Eve, that means Christmas Day. We deeply appreciate those individuals sacrificing Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, to do this important work so we have sufficient eyes on the levee system throughout the holidays. Next, we've been fortunate to have a swift water rescue team from California in the area. We understand they are going home on Monday. We deeply appreciate their assistance. As a result, we're working to bring in 4 swift water rescue teams to stage in King County that will approximately double our support level on swift water rescues. As I understand it, 2 of those teams are from the Department of Fish and Wildlife and 2 are from local resources. Once again, so many folks have just offered to help out. Even if their community is not impacted, they are offering resources to the state, to the executive, to different communities. We deeply appreciate that. We're also working to mobilize a second strike team to be ready to quickly repair a levee if a breach occurs. In other words, if there's a breach, that there's a team there that has equipment to go to that site and try and fix that breach as quickly as possible. King County has had a strike team available which responded, for example, in Pacific to quickly repair that damage. So we are putting together a second strike team for obvious reasons. If an absolute worst case scenario happens where there are 2 breaches at the same time, we want to have the resources to address those situations as quickly as we possibly can. We're also providing equipment to the situation. We've already deployed 2 loaders, 8 dump trucks, and 600 super sacks, essentially giant sandbags. Much of that equipment, as I understand, is coming from WashDOT. Again, lots of agencies, cities, state working together, providing resources to make sure we're getting those resources where we need them. I want to remind Washingtonians to stay alert. Listen to evacuation orders. Obey road closure signs. Listen carefully to your local leaders. They are on the ground. Trust me, we're having many conversations with them. They are communicating to you as well. Listen very, very carefully to your local elected leadership. Many of them are here today. We deeply appreciate their service. It's a challenging time for their constituents. We appreciate their leadership and making sure their constituents stay as informed as possible. Different jurisdictions face different challenges, so we appreciate them making sure their constituents are informed. Lastly, and then I'll turn it over to Girmay next. We are looking ahead. This discussion has been for the next week. We are, of course, aware that another atmospheric river is in the forecast, which could arrive on December 28th. That's obviously a little ways out. We're going to be monitoring that closely. As we get more information, we, of course, will share that with the public and take whatever appropriate response makes sense. With that, I'm going to turn to Girmay for his remarks, and then we'll go to the Colonel. Thanks, Girmay.
Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you to our state teams for organizing this. Thank you to our media partners for getting this information out. Thank you to our city and state partners for being here, too. I want to thank Governor Ferguson for calling us together today. As we know, over the past few weeks, King County and our state have been experiencing a significant natural disaster that has upended many people's lives. People continue to reach out to me saying that they need help right now, and it is heart-wrenching, and I'm glad that so many of us are showing up for our community during this time. Because of the evolving nature of this situation, it's important that we as your elected representatives continue to give you periodic updates. Like the governor mentioned, as soon as we know information, we want to share that out with you all as well. So don't expect that this is going to be the last time that we call you all together to share updates. We want to make sure our residents have up-to-date information about the current risks and the steps we're taking out of an abundance of caution. I have 3 messages today. Number 1, the risk of additional levee breaches has gone down because of improved forecasts, but a moderate risk still exists. That is good news relative to where we were. But while floodwaters are receding, the levees have never experienced before the amount of saturation they're experiencing for the duration that they are experiencing it. So that means they are strained, particularly along the Green and White rivers, and we anticipate another weather system arriving later next week, as the governor mentioned, December 28th. And so we're going to continue to monitor those levees very closely. So that's my first point. This is a dynamic situation. There remains a moderate level of risk of levees breaching, especially with another weather system approaching us here later next week. And we want everyone to know that we are actively monitoring those levees with support from the Army Corps, the National Guard, and staff from the partner cities and states. Here is what we're doing about it, and this is my second point. The resources that we are requesting from the state, as well as the actions that the county and the cities are taking. Flood patrols are currently deployed on the Green, White, and Cedar rivers. Over the past few days, we have cross-trained 35 National Guard troops to augment our flood patrol and enhance our ability to regularly inspect levees. We're currently monitoring multiple areas of interest on the levees and preparing staging areas for immediate response to levee breaches if those were to occur. We have mapped out existing material and equipment resources and identified areas where we can stage additional resources to be ready to deploy rapidly in the event of any potential breaches along these rivers. We have requested additional equipment from the state, and they have already provided equipment, staff, and material to field an additional rapid response team. Additionally, the state is providing swift water rescue teams to be staged in different locations in South King County to ensure rapid response capabilities. Finally, the state will be providing significant quantities of sand, rock, super sacks, geotech fabric, and sandbags. All of this equipment, material, and staff will be deployed to staging areas located in close proximity to where we see the highest risks. The Department of Local Services Roads Division has special operation crews on call for the sole purpose of responding to drainage and levee failures. Crews continue to work Saturday at the levee in the city of Pacific. We have staged sand, rocks, super sacks, and sandbags at multiple locations throughout King County. The King County Sheriff's Office is assisting DNRP's Water and Land Resources Division with drone flights today on the Cedar and Snoqualmie rivers, so we have eyes on the ground and in the skies. We're preparing to open 2 satellite debris collection sites Saturday to assist residents impacted by the flood. Our maintenance operations continue to respond to life safety concerns like downed trees, flooding, and slides. We're working on opening roads as soon as we can when it's safe for our community and our crews. All King County firefighting agencies will be working under normal operations. As the governor shared, the state has offered and we have accepted those resources. Just to reiterate, more monitoring support from the National Guard, more water rescue teams stationed near levees if they are needed, more rapid repair strike teams if we need to quickly repair those levees in the event of a breach. I also want to acknowledge the incredible support and response from our city departments and our mayors. They have been working hard to protect their residents and done such an incredible job. In particular, because we are here in South King County, I want to shout out our South County mayors who have been protecting such an important part of our community that consistently faces the brunt of many of the issues that we face as a region. Together, we are working together. We will be prepared and ready to respond to any signs of failures of these levees. And I want to reiterate what the governor said. Our mayors and our cities have information that is closest to the ground, and so please continue to seek information from them in addition to us as your state and regional partners. My third and final message is to just share what the public can do. We're urging residents to continue to remain cautious because this is an evolving situation. Keep looking out for official alerts, listen to law enforcement, avoid flooded roads, do not drive or walk through standing water, do not drive around barricades or road closures. If you see a road closed sign, please turn around and move away. King County has two main web pages that I want to uplift right now. The first is kingcounty.gov/flood recovery. This is a new website that provides information for residents about flood cleanup and debris management. This website is focused on the recovery from the storms. We've also got partners who can help you if you have suffered damage and need help. The second website is the one that I've been uplifting from the beginning, kcemergency.com. That's kcemergency.com. This is the place to go for coordinated information about the evolving December flooding emergency. If you are a resident of the Green or White River Valleys who lives near levees, please be vigilant and be cautious. If you haven't yet, sign up for Alert King County at kingcounty.gov/alert. More than 86,000 people have signed up for the alert in King County. This is a free service to ensure you get critical information to keep you and your family safe. Again, if you also live around those rivers, if you see sinkholes or depressions in the trails on top of levees or water running out of levees, alert authorities by calling the Flood Warning Center. Call the Flood Warning Center at 206-296-8200. That's 206-296-8200. Or if it seems urgent, please do call 911. We're so grateful for the vigilance and the hard work of all of our county teams, our city teams, our state teams, our Army Corps of Engineers, and everyone who has been showing up during this critical time in our community. We will continue to keep you updated. Like we mentioned before, as soon as we have information, we want to share that with you as quickly as possible. Thank you so much, and now I want to turn it over to our Colonel.
Governor Ferguson, thank you for the invitation to be here today. We appreciate the opportunity to be a part of the conversation and provide updates specific to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers operations and responses during this dynamic event. We're also glad to have great partnerships within the region, including Whatcom, Skagit, Snohomish, King, and Pierce counties, FEMA, tribal governments, and state agencies. Our thoughts are with the communities who've been affected by this event, communities which many of our own Corps staff members and families call home. We recognize that communications regarding the response effort are at times difficult for the public to understand. However, flood fights like this are complex, and the impacts cut across federal, tribal, county, and local boundaries. Public safety is our #1 priority always, and we are committed to supporting our partners and the sponsors when requested. This has been a very dynamic event, and I'm extremely proud and grateful for our team and our partners and our ability to provide support to our partners throughout this flood fight. We've had staff working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to ensure we can support those partners when requested. So again, I'd like to recognize those staff. Looking forward, it appears we may be seeing less precipitation in the forecast. While the Green and White Rivers will start to slowly come down in the coming days, it is important for the public to know that water levels will stay above normal for several days. We operate the Howard A. Hansen and Mud Mountain dams to provide flood risk reduction in the valleys downstream. We were successful in those efforts during this flood event, storing a record amount of water behind Howard A. Hansen Dam, for example, prevented an additional 5 feet of floodwater in the Green River at Auburn. which would have overtopped nearly all the levees. But we also recognize that sustained high flows put pressure on the banks, levees, and other infrastructure. As we always do, we will operate our dams over the next few days with public safety of the entire valleys in the forefronts of our mind. That means a slow and smooth decrease of our outflows so that we manage both levee function and our reservoir elevations while we're holding back behind the dams as we prepare for future storm events. The risk with levees decrease as the river levels drop, but it does not go away. We are aware of several areas around the Green and White River basins and beyond that are being monitored closely by our local partners. We will continue to coordinate with them on potential emergency actions. We are also aware of several specific levees that have sustained damage or even breached in the course of this event, and using the Army Corps' Flood Response Authority, we've been requested to conduct emergency levee repairs on 11 levees in Whatcom, Skagit, and Snohomish counties, with nearly 9 already completed and another 2 in the process of being repaired. Additionally, we have provided heavy equipment and pumps to the flood fight in the City of Pacific in support of our partners and remain closely tied in with monitoring efforts in that area. Remember, flooding can occur quickly with little warning. Residents should monitor official alerts and be prepared. The Army Corps of Engineers works with local agencies and county officials to provide support when local flood fighting resources are overwhelmed. So bottom line, we all need to stay vigilant, and please listen to your local officials for that localized information. That's the best practice in a flooding event. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel. Thank you so much, Colonel, and we're happy to take any questions that anybody might have. Yes, and I'll repeat the question so folks can hear as well, yeah.
So this kind of, running out of Sanborn versus kind of shows the weak points of the levee system. Are you talking to federal partners right now to get federal funding to fix these? Like, what is your next plan to address all of this going forward?
Sure. So the question goes to, I'll paraphrase it, is on the levee system, what's been the conversation on sort of going forward to address the levee system, repaired as needed? I guess a couple of thoughts I'll say, but others may want to jump in. So, number one, we don't yet know what the damage to the levee system is until the waters recede and we have a chance to check that out. The experts I've been speaking to have made that very, very clear, that there's going to be an impact to the levee system, and we won't know that completely until things get back to normal. So that's number one. Number two, I've already communicated. My chief of staff, we've chatted about, hey, once we get through what's right in front of us, and what's right in front of us is our full focus, right, to get through what's right in front of us, we, of course, need to have a conversation with all the folks you mentioned, our federal partners, flood districts, county, cities, state. Let's get together, the Army Corps, and talk about the future of the levee. What lessons have we learned? What do we need to do? What are the investments? So, stay tuned for that, but I think we're all acutely aware of that for sure. The system's is going through a historic stress on its system, and so we're going to be needing to, once we get through this, engage on moving forward to make sure we repair it and make it as safe as possible for residents here. Girmay, anything you want to add on that? Great. Any other questions? If not, we want to thank you all on a Saturday coming down. Thanks to our partners at TVW for live streaming this. We appreciate you. Thanks to all of you. There's so many folks. We have legislators here. We have so many first responders and folks who are involved. And I just want to pass on, on behalf of the people of the state of Washington, how much we deeply appreciate the hard work of folks who are in this room, or are watching live streaming, or out there right now taking care of the situation. I'll be up in Skagit County probably tomorrow, getting out to communities that have been impacted, trying to get around the state. But I just want to emphasize, as challenging as the situation is, it is inspiring to me that we have so many people coming together during an extraordinarily challenging time to really address the challenge that we have, to keep people safe, to get resources for folks. We're going to continue with that. That's the approach we're taking, and that's going to help us get through this. Thank you so much, everybody, and hope you have a good day. Great job. Thank you. I appreciate it.